What's happening? What's happening? What the business is? Welcome back, or welcome if this your first time. My name is Ronaldo Allen. This is everything in between. We're gonna go ahead and jump right into it. A couple episodes ago, I was talking about pushing P. Right? What is pushing P? 3 P's: perception, peer pressure, and patience. Perception, peer pressure, and patience. Yo, when it comes down to this military thing, all of them go hand in hand. You can't have one without the other. You need one probably more than you need others. And then one of them, if you don't do it right, is going to throw off everything that you got going. And based off what I said, I wonder what order or what words go with what I'm actually trying to tell you. So I'm going to read off the definitions I told y'all before. Matter of fact, I take that back. If this is your first time, I told y'all I always got my little handy dandy notebook because I be just jotting stuff down. So I just want to make sure I don't lose my train of thought. And then for two, a lot of my questions and notes be right here. So I just want to make sure I'm always speaking right. So peer pressure, that's the influence of members of one own like immediate circle, right? So if I got a partner, right, and my partner drink, but I don't necessarily drink, and he always be like, bro, come on, take a sip with me. If I'm not mentally strong enough, I might let him pressure me into actually having a drink if I'm of age. So for all my folks that's under age, please don't get caught up like that. Right? That's peer pressure. And then I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into that, of course, later on. Perception. A belief or opinion formed before enough information is available to form it correctly. A belief or opinion formed before enough information is available to form it correctly. Perception. And then patience. The capacity to accept or tolerate delays, trouble, or suffering without getting angry or upset. Major key. Shout out to Callie, right? Perception. The capacity to accept or tolerate delay, trouble, suffering without getting angry or upset. I'm pushing P. Peer pressure, perception, and patience. I'm going to tell y'all a little story. When I first came in the Navy, it was me, Mason, because I knew Mason in A school. So Mason ended up going to my same shit. And then it was Jay, right lines, and then it was stand back. We was the four amigos. If you saw one of us, more than likely during that time on my ship, you saw the other ones. And when these boys see this, y'all don't kill me. I'm talking about almost 17 years ago. Jay was aggressive. Standback was aggressive. I'm from South Carolina, but I grew up in South Florida. Me and Mason grew up around the same area. And you had 4 different walks of life. Actually, Jay was from Pensacola too, so it was a bunch of Florida boys and then Chicago. We was aggressive. I was more like the comic relief, but whatever my dog was doing, more than likely I was going to follow suit. So it better not be no fight because we about to take some stuff up, right? A lot of the things that I end up engaging in, they didn't make me do it, right? They didn't say, hey, Al, come on and do this, right? They was doing it. So I looked and I was like, well, my dog's doing it. I'm going to just follow suit. I ain't going to get into too many of those stories right now, but I just want to set a premise, right? Peer pressure. Perception. It wasn't even a perception that we was aggressive, right? We really were that. But people just used to hear the stories of our weekends out. Some people never witnessed it, right? They was never there. They didn't see all of the shenanigans that was going on. They just heard about it, right? So again, before they had enough like actual evidence to say, hey, them boys are like this, they heard about it, and then they just made their opinion. That's perception. And I'm using it just based off my friends from like pure, just to dumb it down a little bit, and then I dive in everything else. Patience. That was one thing that we didn't have a lot of, right? You're not about to talk about nobody in the group. You're not about to look at nobody kind of crazy. If it's a problem, then it's a problem, right? That thing of patience It's so crazy because as I got older, I realized I needed it actually more. Right? So when we talk about patience again, the capacity to accept or tolerate delay, trouble, or suffering without getting upset or angry. If y'all watched that first episode, y'all know how I came in, right? Bro, I was getting upset about everything. Now people think I'm weird because I probably really don't get upset. I found that patient and I love that. I love being right there. But when I was 19, right? When you 18, matter of fact, this one ain't even necessarily got no age bracket on it. Because I know some people in their 30s and 40s that don't got a lot of patience. I know some people in their 30s and 40s that still can get peer pressure into doing stuff. I know some people in their 30s and 40s that still get confused about perception about them when they have the ability to change that. So again, for the small segment, right? When you 17, 18, 19, 20, I'm gonna say all the way to 26, 27, because somewhere a doctor or scientist said at 26, that's when like either the frontal cortex or somewhere in your brain where it actually develops fully to make you call an adult. So if I'm gonna say from 18 to 26, you just sort of kind of like figuring stuff out. But of course, there's a lot of outside factors and variables that go into that. But I'm just talking for that age group because that age group for me, that's when I got into the most of my trouble. And a little bit like 30s too. Another story for another day. We'll get into that. My immediate circle was rough. I was already rough. So me operating in those frequencies, it was easy for me to attract those type of people. Now, granted, don't get it twisted. Me and them guys still friends to this day. We grown now. We got families. We got kids. They're my dogs. But when it first kicked off, we was innocent, right? But people was trying to hold us to a standard that we really didn't even understand when it came out to this military thing. That perception. Again, most of these folks ain't never physically seen us in action. They only heard about it. So guess what they said? Yep, those guys are A, B, C, D, and E. No evidence, no nothing. Side note, if you ever go to Captain Mass, them folks don't need no evidence. If you ever go to Captain Mass, them folks don't need no evidence. They can convict you just based off what your senior chief or chief say, right? And granted, at the same time, most of that stuff being that true, but like again, based off your chain of command, if they don't like you, based off the perception that they have of you, if you had Captain Mass, go ahead and count your days. We'll dive into that a little bit later. But patience, though, the saying go patience is a virtue, and I still to this day I don't necessarily understand what that means, but I know patience is essential. Excuse me. I know patience is essential, and when you young, depending on how you grew up, you may or may not know how to actually maneuver through that phase of just being patient about things. Because of social media, this digital world, you got cell phones. A lot of people just want things right now, right now, right now, right now, right now. In the military, they got a saying called "hurry up and wait," aka have some patience. They said tolerate. You don't have to like what's going on. It's a 70, 80, 90% chance that you probably really not going to like what's going on. But you got to tolerate it. Especially if you're talking about staying inside this organization. Especially if you're talking about staying inside the military, whether it be the Army, Navy, Marines, Coast Guard, whatever the case may be. You're going to have to find some. I've seen so many younger specifically, right? But I've seen a little bit of everybody, but I've seen so many people jump out, right? Because they didn't have enough patience. It wasn't going the way that they wanted it to go. So they're like, man, I'm done. The Navy trash, it's ass, they stupid, this, that, and the third, blah, 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 jump out, right? A lot of those folks usually don't end up having no plans. They don't have any plans, they just jump out, right? No disability, no nothing, right? Barely trying to figure out school, they just jump smooth out. Ooh, I just thought of something. This definitely gonna have to be a multiple part. Oh yeah, this definitely gonna be a multiple part. That patience thing, yo, if you coming in the Navy specifically, right? Because that's what I'm in, and you don't have no plans, it's gonna take you a while to figure out what you want to do. But again, in your first one, the two contracts, right? That age from 18 to 26, you still in that phase, right? You still not thinking about 10 years down the line. You're not thinking about the 28-year-old you. You're not thinking about the 38-year-old you. You think about right here, right now, and this is all that matters. And please don't get this twisted. I'm not an advocate for the military. I'm not gonna tell you to stay in. I today I'm gonna tell you get out because it's a whole lot more money on the other side. If you do what you're supposed to do in your first contract, there's a lot more money on the other side. But the thing is, y'all still kids. Y'all still young adults. So y'all really don't know what y'all want to do. Y'all haven't figured out that patience thing yet. Y'all are still easily influenced by your peers. You'll let somebody perception of you make you go down that path. And I ain't just saying that just to say that. Again, if I watch that my very first one, I said these right here are the conversations I wish somebody would have had with me when I first came in. So this is just me talking to my phone, talking to this camera, talking to you, but I'm talking to that little kid in me, that 19-year-old version of me. So if this stuff don't apply to you, bro, by all means, don't never come back to this channel. Click off, bro, trash, gone. I'm not gonna lose no sleep. But to that 19-year-old version of me, bro, live. There's no rush on this thing. You don't have to have the answers. It's okay. Peer pressure is a real thing, ladies and gentlemen. You're gonna make some mistakes. Your friends gonna make some mistakes that's gonna directly affect you. The perception of what people have of you might not necessarily be your thing. It might be based off your friends. Birds of the feather do what? Flock together. Thank you. I give yourself a round of applause. They don't have to have all the accurate information. If they hear and they group y'all together, it might as well be you. But don't let somebody else's perception dictate how you're going to respond. You got to have another P word, patience. All this thing come full circle, right? All of this, if you could sit back, breathe, and watch it play out, y'all will really understand that, it really is okay. I'm a firm believer in the saying is hindsight is always 2020. When I started talking about mental health, right, mindfulness, journaling, bruh, I wish I would have took that thing a little bit more serious when I first heard about it. Because what I started doing is at the end of the week, I used to try to make voice memos, not try to. I do make voice memos periodically, right? Whether it be every other day, depending on what's going on at the end of the week or at the end of the month. If whatever I remember, I talk about it. But I try to do it weekly. Excuse me. It's not always like that, but I try to do it weekly. Because throughout that week, different things going on. My wife might be, upset about some things that she got going on, so it end up affecting me, right? My kids might have some stuff going on. My brothers, my sister, my nieces, my nephews, right? It go on and on and on. Sometimes those things, those outside factors affect me, right? And then, so if I'm at work and I'm gonna have a bad day, and people that may or may not know me, it's easy for them to pick up a perception like, yo, this dude an asshole. Man, I tried to talk to him the other day. He just blew me off, but not necessarily knowing like what I physically had going on, what I mentally had going on, what I spiritually had going on, right? They're just gonna put me in a box and leave me there. Cool, no pressure. One of the other things now, when I'm doing those weekly journals, I'm like, yo, what happened that made me feel that day? What was that trigger? What was that trigger? What was that trigger? Because a lot of times when y'all actually sit down and think about it, y'all can easily figure out what that trigger is. People in this military thing, they're gonna come, they're gonna go. The perception of you today probably not gonna be the perception of you tomorrow. As you get older, as you grow, as you live a little bit, these things, that's gonna change. People that met me in 2007 when I first came in, they probably wouldn't even believe who I am now. People that met me in 2010 won't believe who I am right now. 15, 20, 20, 20, it was a shift happening. So they me. But I overcame the peer pressure, overcame the perception that people had of me because I found a balance in patience. I know there's gonna have to be a part two. So I'm gonna wrap this thing up. I hope that y'all found something useful in this. If not, I do apologize. But I'm gonna say this probably almost every episode. You know, I'm not for everybody. I get it. I wholeheartedly get it. And I'm okay with that. Right? Find somebody else. Hit the Xbox. Xbox. I got a PS5. Anyway, hit the X, click off, right? Go to somebody else's channel and try to subscribe to them. Cool with that. But again, this is me talking to that younger version of me. There's gonna have to be a part two or part three. Because it's a lot of stuff that I didn't even get to touch that I was thinking about that I'm gonna have to hit to sort of kind of like horn in on me pushing P a lot more. But with all that being said, again, my name is Ronaldo Allen. This has been everything in between. If y'all see me in the streets, Uncle OG, as long as you don't call me out my name, you're gonna be all right with me. All right. I'll see y'all next time. So now that first part out the way, let me tell you what I really want to say. Bro, don't get fucked up. These people that you're gonna meet in the Navy, bro, oh, that's my dog, bro, that's my bro, that's my sis, that's my bitch. Yeah, that's cool, fine and dandy. But if them people ain't lining up with who you are as a person, bro, slide. Get the fuck up out of there. Bro, I've seen people literally get kicked out the Navy based off the shit that their homeboys and homegirls did. I've seen people get kicked out the Navy because their homeboy or homegirl told on them. Bro, I told y'all, I'm an 80s baby, right? I grew up in the streets. I still follow by a lot of those street codes. So I'm like, bro, you know, the snitching and all that other stuff. But now people ain't following by them same morals and principles. They will get you the fuck up on up out of there. Because when people really start thinking about it, they really don't know you. You really don't know them. Bro, please don't get fucked up unless somebody trick you off them streets. Don't get fucked up and have what somebody's perception is end up really being you. And you know you really can't handle that. Oh, sir, I promise. I'm gonna just get out, bro. I don't really care about the shit and what you do because you came in for a fucking reason. So you gonna let somebody, what somebody else saying about you, goddamn dictate your future? Bro, that first class, that chief, that senior chief, that officer, bro, they gonna get paid on the first and 15th like you gonna get paid. Play around with them folks if they want to, right? Bro, be mindful of your fucking friends. Bro, that perception is a real thing. Matter of fact, perception down there 90% of the fucking Navy. It be miscommunication. And niggas will fall right under that. Well, I heard such and such, and they'll make that shit the truth. So by the time you really start telling your story, bro, they don't really care. They already stuck on that peer pressure. I'm sorry, they already stuck on that perception. But you better find some motherfucking patience. Sit your ass down somewhere. Go read a book. Go to the fucking gym. Bro, all this, bro, the clubs, the girls, or the guys, right? Like the nightlife, it's not going nowhere. Bro, get you some you. Get you some you time. Figure out who the fuck you is. Because if not, the Navy got a place for you. And it's not in their Navy. Bro, figure that shit out. Talk to somebody. Find you a fucking mentor. Read a book. Find a podcast. Right? Matter of fact, find God. Pray. Yeah, pray. Bruh, me being here right now, but that was a lot of prayer. I know my mom and my grandma prayed for me a lot. Now I pray for myself. Dog, you don't gotta have all the answers. You're a teenager in your early 20s. You don't, hell, bro, until you die, you don't gotta have all the answers. But you gotta know who you is. If not, them people got a place for you, boy. Homegirl, them people got a place for you. So if you don't know how to maneuver in this black and white, dealing with this peer pressure, dealing with that perception, and you ain't got no patience, your ass is fried. But I digress. Again, y'all don't gotta listen to me. Y'all don't gotta never come back to this motherfucking channel. But I won't be sitting here right now today, how I'm sitting right here right now today, if I didn't figure out how to maneuver through all that shit. I found my patience. I'm cool now. It'll take an act of God to get me kicked out right now. Or tricked out these streets. Again, bro, I know I'm not for everybody. I'm a little rough around the motherfucking edges. And I'm cool with that. But this me. You gotta be you. You gotta figure out who the fuck you is. And if not, again, and people gonna get you gone. So again, bro, you don't gotta listen to me. But good luck. Gone.